Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back finally to Infallible, Season 2, Episode 8. We're here again, and today we're talking about university. It's been quite a while since we last recorded, but I think we're back for good this time. And of course, I'm joined with my co host Sona,
Hello, yay.
and I'm joined with my special guest Sulayman. You might remember him from
Hi,
tech, I believe, and
hello.
football as well, and crime as well. But
Yeah,
you're a
Hi.
regular, bro. You're a regular.
yeah.
How you lot doing
Okay.
today?
Good man.
I'm average.
Average is not, it's better than bad.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah. For the people who watching right now, you're not gonna know this, but we've had like a huge amount of issue and turmoil with a certain member of Infallible. So it's taken a while to get back, but we've revamped the whole thing in terms of like how we're doing this, and hopefully it should be fine. But I think we'll jump right in because we don't do nitbag news anymore. How is university going for you lot?
Suleiman, I know you have strong opinions on this. Go on.
Um, it's very, how should I say the word, interesting. Um, when I started uni, it wasn't what I thought it would be. I just feel like, honestly, it's a waste of time. Lecturers don't teach you anything. They read everything that's on the board, and yeah, you pay flipping 9K a year for what? You know,
Exactly, I agree with you. I agree with you.
I actually,
Well,
when I first started, I actually thought they actually teach, but they just read stuff off the slide, and yeah.
it'd probably be helpful to tell the audience what you're actually doing for your
Oh yeah,
degree.
sorry, yeah. I'm doing cybersecurity and digital forensics.
So, what does that entail?
So, so it's basically how to hack, basically hacking. That's the main overview of the course. Ethical hacking, forensics, and stuff like that. Yeah, next year is going to be very interesting.
Ah, okay. So, it's a bit like future proof psychology.
Yeah, basically.
Ibrahim, you might want to take
Yeah,
notes.
yeah, yeah. Honestly, because I'm leaving psychology, I don't feel the need to defend anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I'm literally gonna firsthand tell you how bad it is in a moment. So
Yeah. Well, for me, so I'm doing PPE. I'm doing philosophy, politics, economics. Obviously,
genius.
no, it's not. It's just something I'm interested in. It's a proper like humanity academic subject, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
um, but I must say, while it's fun, it's very fun, and it's interesting because my university like focuses on different cultures and stuff like that instead of like the Eurocentric narrative. You know what I mean? Like we do
yeah,
like African stuff, Asian stuff. Um, it's interesting. Whether it's worth 9K a year is a different matter, Like, am I
yeah,
have I changed that much within this period of time that would warrant such a cash injection? You know?
yeah.
Um,
Cash.
Yeah.
They've taken the cash from you. They've pulled it
Mm.
out of your system for the rest of
Also,
your
the
life.
the number of holidays we get, yeah, is
Yeah,
even though I enjoy it, considering that we're paying for it, it's kind of outrageous.
it's ridiculous. It's
Exactly.
insane.
Yeah.
We
Sometimes I
Exactly.
feel
can't
like we do more chilling than work.
exactly right. Yeah, we do more like nothing than something.
Yeah,
Because I
Uh,
think the way it's worked as well. I think because yeah, you have to pay right until you finish, even though you're off for like flipping 2 months. You still have to pay for that time. So
yeah.
Uh,
It's
and a lot of it is like because it's not like previous education where it's like conventional teacher or stuff like that. It's
mm,
mm,
there is like a lecturer, but it's a huge class,
yeah,
and everyone gets taught the same thing. But most of the work is done by you at home through like reading
yeah,
and stuff. In it, you got to
yeah,
basically teach
yeah,
yourself. You teach yourself these perspectives and stuff like that, and do assignments
mm,
on it. And most of the lecturer's time is taken up by marking. So like
mm,
I
that's
mean,
really it.
a lot of lecturers, they don't do that as their main job as well. They're like researchers and things like that, and they do
Yeah,
lecturing on the side as well.
yeah, they delegate it to like I don't know, like postgraduates or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Is it my turn?
yeah.
All right, I'm doing psychology in the University of Reading. I'm gonna say the name full out because I'm pretty sure I've already said it before, but
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
absolutely despise it. So
Oh,
much so that I'm making the swap to computer science now. And
well,
I'll tell you more when we get into it properly, because this is kind of just the introduction right now. But one of my lecturers literally told me that the whole point of university is to just learn to Google effectively, meaning all this nonsense that we're doing is pointless. Like there is no point. Any exam that you
Um,
do is
yeah,
open book. So
100%,
yeah,
that's
anything you're
good.
100%.
doing is open book. So you're going to be
Yeah.
researching and Googling for your entire sort of thing. On top of that, because Reading for me is about like 2 hours away on a good day, it means I have to travel the lands and seas just to listen to a lecturer who's just going to read off the PowerPoint, as Sulayman said earlier.
Mm.
And in my opinion, the entire planning of university is horrendous and horrific. And it's psychology, right? Which I picked it for, when I did it, I picked it because I love the A level subject. But they picked the most boring subsections of psychology that they possibly could. I have no idea why, but they completely destroyed my passion for psychology. And that's why university, I still consider it to be my least favorite part of any education and probably the worst decision I've ever made in history. That's what I would consider it. So I'm very
Oh,
strong on this.
well, I think that depends on like what you're planning on in the future.
Yeah, the
Because
thing with, yeah,
there's obviously benefits to university, right? First
of
of
course,
all,
yeah.
you get the qualification, which even though some of us think it's worthless, a lot of employers don't. So there's one thing. And second thing, it teaches you certain skills that you don't get elsewhere, like you obviously, like you said earlier, Google effectively. You learn how to research properly. You learn how to write proper essays, proper
Even
assignments.
those skills are sort of
Um,
like falling off as well, though.
oh, okay. Well, Solomon wanted to say something, I think.
Yeah.
Solomon, did you want to say something?
Um, I don't know. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah. So when was it? It was in one of our labs, right? And then the director of the course came in, and he was asking us, "Oh, how you find the course and stuff." And you know what he said? The course is BS.
It is, you know.
This
You could do all
course,
that at home.
he yeah, he was like, "You're just gonna get this BS degree and just stuff like that." Yeah, it's crazy, you know.
It is,
He's
it's
like the
insane.
director, and he's saying that. So you
The
know,
thing with degrees is that there's degree inflation because so many people have them that you're not guaranteed a job after you get one. So
Yeah.
not only are you
yeah,
putting yourself
100%.
way in the
Mm.
hole for debt, but you're also not guaranteeing yourself anything. And with effective Googling, I think all three of us can relate to this. ChatGPT and the advancement of technology. It's not a useful skill
Uh,
anymore. It's not something that needs to be taught.
chat Chat GBT is my friend.
ChatGPT is the
I'm gonna be
greatest
honest.
Have you
thing
seen
ever designed by humans.
you've seen Google Bard, right? Have you entered that?
I'm planning to do
So
that, yeah.
yeah, I did it.
What's
I
that?
did it. So Google made their own version called Bard,
Okay.
Bard, and you
Yeah.
basically just apply to be like a beta tester. Luckily, I got in. Isn't that interesting?
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
it's average. It's not as I don't think it's as good as ChatGPT.
I mean, ChatGPT's been fed a lot of information, but Bard is relatively new, so
No, Bard has like a greater data set
does it have
than
all of Google?
ChatGPT. Yeah. So it's got basically all data sets that are available, but it's still kind of bait that you're talking to a like an AI.
You think it's because it
Yeah,
hasn't learned from humans
mm,
yet? Like it has all the information, but it has to chat to people to like
but the thing is,
understand more.
is that the thing is, if the lectures actually taught properly, no one will actually use Chat GPT. Let's be honest.
True, yeah.
We're only using it because we have no other hope, you know.
I mean, because it's so efficient. Like I don't know a
Yeah,
single person who doesn't use it.
yeah,
Um, Sometime, well, I don't know if for you guys it would help ChatGPT because, like, so for Solomon, if he's doing cybersecurity, I'm assuming there's some sort of code involved there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and ChatGPT is
Programming.
quite good at that, like, making
Yeah,
code.
Yeah,
And with
yeah.
yeah.
Ibrahim, psychology, I don't know how ChatGPT probably would help with condensing, books and research into like
Oh, yeah, I can joke
summaries.
about that. Because I have
and
a story on that.
experiments. But like with me, yeah, sometimes it's like it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Like, like because like politics, philosophy, and economics is so expansive. So many specific details you need to talk about and make specific references that ChatGPT can't do it. So sometimes it's not. I just can't use it. Like it doesn't help me much with me
Yeah.
personally. You know. So
I use it to generate ideas. Like, for example, if I have an essay that's like debate the use of diagnostic labels in psychology, I'll ask it to give me 4 points and against points. And like that way, it
yeah.
basically, and then you just say, can you expand on it? And it'll generate you like a bunch of paragraphs for all the information. The thing that ChatGPT struggles on, and I have a story on this, is that it struggles with research because I used it to write me an essay and this was at like 4 in the morning. It was due at 12 p.m., right? And I was doing this at 4 in the morning. And I created my entire essay. This took me like 2 hours to do. And at the end of it, I came to the sudden realization that ChatGPT tends to make up research. Like he'll be like, oh, Johnson and Jeffrey 2003 found this for like to
Really,
defend this point. Yeah, it does. It's crazy. So I like there I am sitting there at 4 a.m. almost about to submit the essay and I realized, oh shit, what is this? And then I had to
how'd you
redo the whole thing.
how'd you find out?
I looked up some of these studies because I knew that sometimes ChatGPT can get the information wrong. And so I looked up like these studies to try and find them. I couldn't find a single one. All of them were fake. It was
Well, there
crazy. The
you go.
points
And
were fine, but the research to back up the points were fake.
oh, okay, yeah, that's a bit mad then.
Yeah, so ChatGPT, I do software engineering on the side because that's what I want to get into now. But it literally writes perfect code. It's crazy. But for essays and research, you have to be very careful with it. Though it will probably cut down your time by half overall.
Okay,
But the thing I
But it
hate
just
the
shows that
most, yeah,
the thing shows that AI does have its faults as well.
of course, yeah, like anything else.
we think that AI, oh, it's going to be 100%, but obviously have some of its faults.
Honestly, I think eventually it will be perfect because like the internet started off pretty bad, but now it's like our number one resource over books, for example. Like eventually AI is just going to reach the point where not only is it going to be able to present information, but it's also going to be able to fact check itself and things like that to make sure that it's telling the right thing. And it's going to be able to like,
Yeah.
you're going to be able to make it like extremely human-like so that there's like no way to track it.
mm,
It's because it's so convenient to humans that there's like a reason like we can justify putting so much effort into AI because it's
Mm.
like the most useful thing yet that we've come up with.
Is there not another one called Coolbot? I mean, I've never used it, but
Cool. I think I've heard of that
Coolbot,
one.
I don't know why is that playing people use it. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's bears coming out now. Like everyone wants to jump in on that
Mm.
market, but I
you
remember one of the
know.
things I keep getting.
So yeah. Anyway, I think we're getting too much off topic now. It's time to talk about AI now. Let's talk actually about
That's
uni.
for that's for tech part three.
Yeah, let's talk about uni. So what was the talking points you had, Ibs?
Well, I was going to talk. So we've done about how uni's going. We've sort of touched on this, but the importance of higher education. So, like, is uni necessary for the student debt? Which I think we've touched on it. Do you not
Yeah,
think that we'll reach a point where, like, because this is happening for like software engineering, for example, where employees are more interested in your experience and your portfolio compared to your degree. So, like, there are many self-taught engineers out there. Do you think we'll reach a point where most degrees will become like that? Or do you not think that this is here to stay?
I think we're already
Oh,
like that. We're already like that, innit?
Yeah, but
yeah,
there's
we
certain
are.
degrees like law, for example, that you need, or like medicine, you need a degree for it. Like, there's no
But there
questions asked.
are certain degrees, even though all degrees technically are the same in value, right? For
Yeah,
like a law degree from I don't know, like I don't know, Queen Mary is the same as a law degree from Oxford, right?
yeah,
But who's gonna get hired first?
the Oxford.
Right. So it's all about like the prestige of the uni. So there are some people who are gonna go degrees in Cambridge, Oxford, I don't know, London School of Economics, those St
King's
Andrews,
College, yeah,
those kind of yeah universities, and they're gonna come out with a degree and they're gonna get a job like that because of the prestige of the uni.
yeah.
So sometimes it's that, not the degree itself.
Do you think that overall, because like that's a very slim, like there's like 100 plus unis. Do you think that would reach a point where, because like with a degree, it doesn't necessarily mean you have experience. Like talking from psychology, for example, even if I learnt the ins and outs of like all mental illnesses, it wouldn't be enough for me to become a therapist, because I'd still need to know how to talk and stuff. Whereas if I learn how to become a therapist, just because I don't have all the information, I could still do that job. So the degree overall just ends up being a limiting factor.
You could be a researcher though.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like for certain jobs. Plus,
Yeah.
researchers and like for example, doctors as well. They don't. A lot of the time, doctors have to Google too. Like they don't. They don't have. They're not like computers that can memorize everything as well. So a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
the
yeah,
time,
100%, 100%.
a,
Yeah, yeah,
a lot of the time, you come to start questioning these
Yeah.
degrees. I
yeah.
mean, we all know
My,
the education system's outdated, but
I know I have a lot of like tech savvy people that in my circle. So like obviously you guys know Abdullah in it.
yeah.
He's good. He's studying like computer science at King's now, I think. Um, and he knows his computer science like crazy. My
What year did he hack
auntie's,
into the school? Like, what year was that?
I think it's year 11. I
That's
think so.
crazy, bro.
Wow.
Prodigy.
Damn.
He bypassed one of their firewalls or something to give everyone YouTube access, something like that. Yeah.
It's
Um,
insane.
but yeah, the guy just, I don't know, he just has it. Um, and then my auntie, who's a web designer, and they've all told me like most of computing is like googling stuff.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly. Yeah.
there's like a site that everyone goes to. I think it's called like, is it called like Blue Stacks or something like
Stack
that?
Overflow.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
BlueStacks is
Stack
an
Overflow.
Android thing.
Yeah, yeah, that I was getting them mixed up. But everyone talks about that. Like they just go there and
Oh,
it's
I can
crazy.
tell you about Stack Overflow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It is the worst thing ever because everyone on there
Yeah.
acts like snobs.
Is
Like,
Yeah.
it?
oh,
It's not.
you don't know, and like the moderators get bare like they get bare like power trippy and stuff, and they like
It's
close
like
things for no
Reddit,
reason.
like Reddit for computer
It
nerds.
literally is. It's Reddit, except instead of there being like 5% decent people on Reddit, everyone's a dickhead on Stack Overflow.
It's true.
Everyone is a dickhead. No one, everyone's praying for your downfall. They're like, this isn't the kind of question you should be asking. Or they'll be like, why don't you Google this? Like, obviously, I tried that. That's why I ended up on Stack Overflow. You fucking. That's why I think ChatGPT is so good.
Of
Because,
course, you
like,
get so angry over
it's so bad. You need to check out for yourself.
it.
It's so bad. It is so, so bad. I can't even begin to explain how bad.
Plus there's too many.
Especially if you're a
Plus there's
noob
too
like
many
me.
answers as well.
Yeah, yeah,
There's too
yeah.
many answers as well. It's
Is it?
confusing, man. I tried it. Yeah, it's not. It's not it.
Especially if you're like a noob like me, you're gonna get like scoffed
Yeah,
at. They're not gonna answer your
like
question. They're
me.
just gonna scoff at you, and then some moderator will close your
Exactly.
question. Like fucking hell, man. That's why ChatGPT is the goat because like there's no human that's telling you the instructions. It's a robot. So I don't mind if robots
Exactly.
take over the world anymore, bro. Let him come. At least ChatGPT doesn't be like, oh, you should do this. You should really do your research before you ask me a question on this site that's designed for asking questions so that you can help me out. Oh fuck, I'm getting heated.
James, man, calm down. You're getting triggered, man.
I hate Stack Overflow. Anyway, sort of what were you saying?
I don't know anymore. I don't know what I was saying.
Ibrahim Rants kicking in halfway through.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Anyway,
And
researching is very important in degree. I think that's where you were.
yeah, yeah. So I think degrees help with that certain level of like basically research, just like knowing how to do something, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think that's for every degree. I can't think of a
Mhm.
single degree where you would need to like memorize everything, like the way uni's kind of like the way you think it would be. Like I can't imagine a single one.
Um, there's got to be like medicine and law, some of those like hyper intensive degrees where they're like you
Yeah,
basically just have to know everything.
I'm sure you'd need to learn like the basics, like obviously enough to get you through, but I don't think you'd need to learn like the ins and outs of every law. Because
No, but
again,
like you
doctors
specialize in
Google
it.
and stuff. Yeah, if
No,
you
but like
specialize, yeah.
because like there's some lawyers that like know like corporate law and criminal law, and some doctors that are like obviously focus on specific body parts.
Yeah, but like, say for example, I became like an optician, for example. That doesn't mean
Yeah.
I would know a lot about the eye, but that doesn't mean like if some I would know every diagnosis that like if someone came to me and said I have this problem, it doesn't guarantee that I would know the solution to every single one. Like,
Yeah, I know, but it does mean that you basically have to have like thick, broad underlying knowledge. Like you just have to have, you have to be,
yeah,
you have to be able to investigate the issue properly.
yeah, and I
You
don't
have to
think
be able to
university
Yeah.
does a good job on that.
what to help find out stuff.
I feel like yeah, because especially for specializing, you usually in most degrees you're doing everything, right? Unless you pick like a very specific degree. In most cases, like you're doing a bit of everything.
Mm.
It's not special. It's not specializing. You only really specialize after your degree, in like a master's or in like a better like after that postgraduate thing. So I still feel like the degree itself is kind of worthless overall.
Uh, it's not worthless if employers look for
Yeah,
it.
purely for employers. That's it. Like it's pretty much just a paper that says, "Hey, I'm smart."
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's 100%.
Exactly.
The only thing, like I've spoken to a guy, like an employer at one point, and he was telling me like the point of degrees, and he was saying that a degree isn't necessarily about information. It's more about, well, if you've passed your degree, I know you're committed. I know you have intelligence, you have like a surface level intelligence. I know you have like discipline, things like that. So that's what he gets from them. But even then, like, I don't know, it's you don't need a degree. You don't need to pay 9K for 3 years for that.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, I
Yeah,
think
fair
so,
enough.
but yeah, go on, Solomon.
No, no, I was just gonna say what Ibs, yeah, I suppose they don't, like Ibs said, the employers, they look at more experience. That's the main thing they look at
Yeah. Especially for us,
after
Suleiman.
your, yeah, it's
Because
I'm
very,
not
we're
sure though.
we're
us,
going into software, so
I'm not sure if I,
mm,
yeah, I'm not sure if I agree with that. I think that depends on what subject you're doing. Like properly
mm,
depends. Because sometimes, yeah, it is about like, sometimes it is like your experience. Like someone like, I don't know, like like a software engineer or something, or someone who studied, I don't know, like law or something, who knows like stuff. But like there are other like academic professions where basically just having the degree is required because
yeah,
it's so
definitely.
like it's so like it's like literacy, it's like
yeah,
literature based, or like you got to know your research, you got to know your names and basic like theory and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
um
yeah.
which
mm,
sometimes, even though in practice like experience should teach you, sometimes like it doesn't, because you won't always experience it.
True.
mm,
But I guess
fair
in
Yeah,
enough.
most careers you're always learning on the job. Like that's just kind of a thing. You never stop learning.
yeah,
So
Yeah,
even if you're missing holes that a degree might fill, I feel like inevitably those holes would be filled in some way or
yeah.
another.
By then your employer would have been paying you a
True,
wage that
true.
requires you to know in it. So it's not a
yeah,
payoff for them, is it? Anyway, yeah, next subject, because I think this is dragging
Yeah.
on a bit.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think me and Sona both know about this. I'm curious, Suleiman, if it happens for you too. But what do you lot think about universities and their getting very political? Like, for example, I'll give you my example. In my uni, the trans community is very small. Well, we all know my opinion on trans, and Sona's converted to my side recently, as I found out. But they erected a huge flag that was like taller than some of the buildings, and like it had like a huge flag a huge trans flag, like right in the middle of campus, and like
what?
constantly, there's like trans seminar, trans this, trans that. It's constantly shoved down your throat. The bathrooms are like they talk about this kind of stuff inside the bathrooms, things like that. Do you not think that in a place like that, universities should be getting political in certain aspects like that, or do you think that they should stick to being standard?
Oh, don't know. That's a good question.
Suleiman, have you experienced something like that before?
Well, in Middlesex, it's not that. I mean, there is, of course, and they have like the thing is, I was looking at the groups, the groups that have the different societies, and they are crazy.
Mm. Yeah, they
They
are.
they are like I don't even know how they even become that, but I mean, Middlesex is not really that much. Of course, there is that odd occasion, but I haven't really seen it that much.
Mm. It's interesting. I don't know
But
why Reading is so left then.
yeah, but I've heard Reading and Brighton, they're a bit on the
Reading is
LGBT.
mental. It's mental.
Crazy.
It's
So
so. Who are you?
I go SOAS, right?
Yeah,
Very very left wing. It's a communist sixth form. Um, and obviously also has a very huge LGBTQ presence, right?
yeah,
Um, and there's like banners, gender isn't binary, there's rainbow flags, stuff like that. And whilst, yeah, I get your points, and whilst I have agreed with you, Ibrahim, about the whole
yeah.
transgender issue, I also think like university is inherently political, isn't it?
You
It's
think so?
like that stage in every person's life where they think they know everything. You know that. You go
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
uni because
Dunning Kruger effect.
I know I don't know everything. There are very few things that I would call myself like well understood in,
This,
very, very few things. And even then they're like lame things like dinosaurs or something, right?
the smart people think they're knowledgeable because did they think they're not knowledgeable because they know there's so much they have to learn, and the dumb people think they are knowledgeable for the opposite
Well,
reason.
yeah, well, I guess so. You could put it like that, but that's how everyone feels at uni. Everyone thinks they know everything, and
Mm.
they're right in their opinion. Everyone's opinionated, and that's sort of beautiful about it because there's so much discourse and like so much debate. So I guess so in a way, like if the LGBTQ community is big enough, and they demand that sort of like representation, then yeah, cool. But you equally should have the right to protest against it. That's what I'm saying, and like
Yeah,
Yeah,
share your
100%,
opinions on it. Share your opinions on it,
100%.
and like
Mm.
obviously you'd get handed out of the uni and like probably attacked. I don't know because you're a transphobe or something. Who knows?
'Cause
Um,
lovely,
I feel
peaceful
like
uni.
I feel like nowadays you can't really say anything because you'd be labeled as a homophobic or like even
I
not
do want to
trying to
get into
say.
this.
yeah,
I would
yeah,
love to.
So
trans.
it's hard, you know.
Yeah, 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 100%, 100%. But also, you got to remember, like, a university's main aim is to make everyone feel comfortable, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's what
also.
it's like. One of the main principles it has. You got to make sure everyone feels comfortable, um,
Mm.
even if it means discussing things that not everyone agrees with, right?
risk defense in
Because,
the
like,
pursuit of truth.
right, yeah. So, like, trans people say that they're trans and they have transition stuff like that, and that political belief and stuff like that is like promoted and understood as a reality by these universities that we're talking about. But
Yeah,
does that does that acceptance actually hurt you as someone who doesn't agree with it?
I definitely think so. Yeah, because they're using resources that could be pumped into actually important things into
Oh,
that.
okay. Well, in your opinion, it's not as important as other things, but that's an opinion. You know what I mean?
Well, also
Like,
statistically, like the trans community is significantly tinier than most of the other ones. Like you
yeah,
don't like
I
the
guess
amount of
so.
fuss
You
that
could.
they create for that tiny group.
Well, yeah, but that's how vocal minorities work, isn't it? If they feel that they've been unfairly treated by like years and years of like discriminate, who knows, right?
Yeah,
They have a right to like basically. That's what universities do. Like now we're seeing so much hatred towards colonialism and stuff like that, and that's
yeah,
because people are finally like realizing, oh man, it was terrible. Even though most people are still white in Britain,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's how minorities work. If they feel that they've been transgressed against, they're gonna fight back with an even bigger like voice that is disproportional to their actual size.
The fact that
Um,
unis have to like go along with it, though, I feel like is a bit.
they don't have to; they choose to make sure to satiate everyone. The whole
They sort of have
idea
to, though.
the whole idea must be that we will accept trans people and their ideology because it makes them comfortable, but it doesn't actively hurt anyone else to accept it either. Do you get what I mean? It just
No, I
means that
think
you
Yeah, I
disagree with it.
understand.
I think
Mm.
it's the same reason why many brands, like when they do advertising, like Bud Light did this recently, where they
Oh,
involve
the
transgender people, where I
yeah,
think they're just trying to improve their own like reputation. Like, oh yeah, like we've got we're part of this squad. We're promoting the message as well, you know. Come join us. Look at us. We're progressive, rather than oh yeah, we genuinely believe this stuff. I feel like that's genuinely overall the reason that they do it.
brands will
Especially
do anything. They'll do
yeah, yeah,
anything.
brands and unis as well. Yeah, I mean, it's a service they're selling you. Unis are selling you
Money,
something.
money talks. Money talks. And if the money is saying to do something, then they'll do it. They will lie through their teeth. If racism was accepted again, brands will accept it.
This is what Disney does. Like in China, doesn't Disney like censor black people, but everywhere else they've like blackwashed areas and things like
Maybe,
that.
yeah. Of course,
I think
why
Disney
not?
does that. Yeah,
That's money.
best.
Brands don't actually have any shred of integrity. You should understand that. They're profit
Yeah,
incentivized.
they're
They'll
just
do
trying to
anything
finesse
to make money.
the woke leftists. That's just what they're doing.
I don't like that term, woke leftist, because
Woke left. It gets misused. That's the issue.
yeah, it's because you don't. When people say like, like Americans use this term. I'm sure you've heard this as well, Suleiman. Yeah, when people say liberal snowflake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If people actually understood what liberal meant, they wouldn't say it because
Mm.
America's whole economy is liberal. It is literally a liberal country. When people
Mm.
say like, "Oh, I don't want socialism and healthcare and stuff like, I want everyone to pay for their own thing," which was what America does, right? Everything's private. That is liberalism. So
It
when they
reminds
say
me of like yeah.
it just shows to me how many people lack basic understanding of the definitions that they're using. Oh, liberal snowflake, liberal snow. You are liberal. Your country is liberal. So like, come
It
on, mate.
reminds me it reminds me of in history, like back in like during the Cold War, everything that was negative was called communist. Like even though people it could have like nothing to do with it, but they'd be like if they didn't like something, they'd be like, that's communist, bruv.
Communist was just a synonym for Russian. It was just Russian.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what that reminds me of. But anyway, the reason I
yeah.
talked about politics is because it's leading on to my next point, and I want to ask you lot if you've experienced this as well. So over the past time I've been in university, I've been doing my research into what is that? Oh my God. Wait, I know we're added to infallible. Hold up. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up.
Wait, how did Ibrahim? How did he remove you as admin?
Oh my God. Wait, are any of you admins?
No, he removed everyone. How did he remove you as admin? Oh, because
No, no.
Junaid made the group.
Fuck's sake.
Okay.
Hold up.
Well, we got like
Let me tell Salad that. I hate this man so much.
I do too. Um. So yeah, I guess so.
I might actually just permanently ban Salad now. You know, I'm getting really annoyed about that.
Yeah, maybe that's
One
Happened.
moment. I can't believe this.
Happened.
I
Eh?
was so nice to him. I said I invited him several times. Oh my God.
Anyway, yeah, let's continue because people are gonna get confused about why it's so quiet.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll have to edit that part out.
yeah. So anyway,
Fuck's sake. Well, anyway, man, that's really annoyed my mood. Okay,
yeah, Sam.
so I've been doing my own research, and I want to ask you lot if you've been experiencing something similar, right?
Hmm.
So, hang on, sorry, I'm still getting so annoyed over that. Okay. I'm back. For the viewers, don't worry about it. Sarah Broad is being a dick. I might ban him from the podcast entirely for this. I'll think about it when I'm less emotionally charged. All right.
Yeah.
So over the past few, like the entire time I've been there, I've been researching my companions at university. I can only say that I have one true friend there. Well, I have two, but one friend that I've been from the very beginning up until now, and a bunch of others because in psychology we've basically just been given a bunch of group tasks and things like that. And the thing I wanted to find out is because university is so emotionally charged, right? And
Yeah.
like it everyone gets very political. I wanted to see how like when it came to opinions in an area that's very educated, like it's seemingly very smart people go there. In
Yeah.
an area like that, are people's opinions based on critical thought? Because people have been saying recently that critical thinking is dying. And so what I did is I asked people certain questions. I asked people, I went, so I can give you some of the examples. So, for example, I asked about incest all the way to transgenderism and Andrew Tate and things like that. And I can ask you a lot of
Oh,
these questions
okay.
as well if you want. But so one of the questions, for example, was I asked, okay, so say you think that incest is bad, right? Say
Um,
two people existed, right? Called Jack and Jill, and they
mm,
went up a hill and they were brother and sister and they did incest, right?
yeah.
Say they both used contraception, there was no child, their relationship wasn't impacted whatsoever, they left and nothing happened, and like there were no negative consequences. Was what they did wrong? And a lot of them said, yeah, it is wrong, it's incest. And then I'd say, okay, why? And none of
Yeah,
them would have an answer for it.
that's a good argument. I don't think it's wrong then in that
Yeah, yeah,
case.
I don't think it's wrong either.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, yeah.
So basically,
By the way, I've
that was
abandoned the
one of the questions. But every single person there,
Ibrahim,
sorry,
I've
what?
abandoned the other chat, by the way. I've
Yeah,
abandoned
yeah,
it.
yeah. I'm just gonna mute it myself.
I don't know, I've just left it altogether.
Man, there were so many important things on that chat as well.
No, but it's alright. I've copy and pasted everything important. So it's
All
cool.
right, cool. But
Um,
anyway, as of for now, Salad is banned from Infallible, so there is no more Music Man. We'll have to do something about that. We'll use his old stuff, I guess.
yeah, I'm really not happy about that one.
I'm
This,
so
this,
upset. I literally told him that the entire thing going on is. I can't believe
that's
I'm gonna keep this in. I'm keeping this in because I think it's
yeah,
important. But anyway,
that's not okay.
all of
Yeah.
them, my results found that all of them would die on the hill that it's important, but that it's bad, but they would never be able to give actual reasonings that were actual proper reasonings. It would just be like, oh yeah, it's just wrong. Okay, that's just how it is.
Mm,
Another thing I asked about was Andrew Tate. Now I do psychology, which means that the girls outnumber us 10 to 1. So
right.
basically, I don't think I only had like two guy friends. I always wanted more, but I only had like two of them, and the rest of them were all girls, right? And that those friends I was talking about earlier, the two of them were both girls. And so I would ask them about Andrew Tate. Naturally, all of them would hate him, and then I'd ask them for reasons. And for the majority of them, they had no reason. And then another question I'd ask would be transgenderism, and I'd go deep into. Sony, you agree with me now about the whole thing, but I'd ask, what's it called? These friends, they'd all agree with transgenderism, but then they'd never actually be able to give critical reasonings. And I was able to draw two
Mm.
conclusions from this. The first conclusion I drew was, and this was from probably my closest friend there, a lot of people simply don't care. They pick the side that they believe will get them in the least amount of trouble. And so their thoughts and their
100%.
opinions are very surface level and
Superficial.
superficial, yeah, because they don't really care. They don't want to think about it too much because they don't care about politics that much. And the second thing, and like all of this ties back into the whole, trans being like the giant flag and all that, how like it's struck like shoved down our throats for the majority of people. And the second conclusion I drew, and this comes to like because I asked another question about slurs and things like that, and I got very deep into like issues that would affect them. So for the girls, I would ask about feminism, especially as well, and Andrew
Right.
Tate as part of that as well. But a lot of them wanted to complain about something, and a lot of them would be very irrational because of that. So
Right.
I would ask. I had a friend who was a Muslim there, and I told you already, Sona. I basically told her that based on my conclusions that I can't say in the podcast, but I came to a specific conclusion about Islam, and she got so I will say I told her that I don't think Islam is a peaceful religion, and I gave her examples, and
Oh, okay, okay.
she immediately said, oh, you think I'm a terrorist? You think I've put a bomb under my thing or whatever, under my job? And I was like, no, naturally, obviously, that's not what I meant. That I don't think all Muslims are terrorists, all that, this, that, the other. But when you look at this part of the scripture and that part of the scripture, and we don't need to get into God because we can't get into God anymore. But when it came down to it, a lot of people, the main point I'm trying to bring up is that the majority of people don't care or they want to be irrational because they want something to complain about. So for the people, the whole point I'm trying to get to is, have you lot experienced this with the people that you've spoken to in any way?
Suleiman?
Oh, not really. That's no. That's a very how can I say deep, Ibrahim. No, I haven't really.
I'm doing psychology. I'm very interested in people's psyche. I can't lie.
Yeah. How
Small,
about
I
you,
feel like you
Smolo?
would have experienced it because you debate all the time, right?
Who,
With your
me?
professors or anything. Yeah,
What regarding like people getting outrageous way too quickly?
yeah, yeah.
Um, I don't really see it in person as much. I don't see it in person. Um, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it in person actually. I see it in the internet all the time, but that's because the internet hides who you are in it. I don't think I've actually seen it in person. I don't know. Maybe it's the way I like. Maybe it's the way I say it. Who knows? That makes it sound less abrasive. I don't know. So I guess I'm trying to think. Like, have I ever basically? Oh, okay. Maybe when it probably come recently when it comes to transgenderism, probably that. Like,
So, like with people or like how?
so I used to believe, right? I used to believe this was the argument, and it's the very popular argument that gender is a social construct
Yeah,
and sex is biology, right? And then I actually like properly thought about it, deeped it. Like, what does that mean? What is gender? Like, elaborate further rather than just saying it's a social construct. And when you actually think about it, gender is really just like a set of behaviors, right?
yeah,
um, that we've just assigned woman and man. Um, and obviously, woman and man is just the human version of male and female, right? So when someone says, for example, when someone is transgender and they decide, I'm going to go from transition from man to woman, what are they actually changing, right?
yeah.
What are they changing? Are they literally just changing their label? In which case, why does it matter? Um, or do they just want to behave superficially like what a caricature of a woman, you know? Like long hair, acting feminine, wearing women's clothes, stuff like that. And then the question becomes, is that all a woman is? You know?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Is,
I
is
talk
that
about
all
this as
it
well.
is? Is that all it is to be a woman? Wear women's clothes, act girly,
Yeah.
like girly stuff, have long hair, done. There's no
Mhm.
struggle. There's no periods. There's no like I don't know being sexually harassed. None of
It's like
that.
a costume you
Right?
can wear, right?
It's like a
They've made
costume,
it.
exactly. It's almost makes me. It almost is insulting to the woman to a woman's experience in my eyes. You're basically
Almost.
saying I know what it is to be a woman, but you don't though. You don't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're saying what a
Yeah.
woman is, and so the whole idea of it being a social construct is just a lie that I think people tell each other because it's not. You can be you can act feminine, you can act like what stereotypical women are, but you're still a guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mentioned this as
It's
well, yeah.
cool. I'm not
I've
stopping you
got
from saying you
I
can't
won.
have long hair and paint your fingernails and do stereotypical women activities and wear women's clothes. Do that. That's cool. I don't mind that. That's your life. You do you. But then when you say I am a woman and I expect everyone else to refer to me as a woman and I want to be able to access female only spaces, that's the problem.
That's why I think critical
Yeah.
thinking has died. Because when you genuinely look into it, there is no logical reason or biological reason or anything that justifies transgenderism whatsoever. Yet it's spread so much that even in the 2023 fireworks, they were talking about LGBTQ, that trans flags are painted on the roads everywhere. There's only one argument that these people know, and this goes back to university as well, my research, and that is the only argument they know is, well, let them do what they want. They're just trying to live their lives. It doesn't affect you. Which,
But
firstly, doesn't even answer the contradictions, but two, it's just false. It's not true at all. Like, it's crazy to me.
yeah, this is
Mm.
I think we can all agree that transgenderism and I guess LGBTQ in general is no longer just a lifestyle. It's become like its own thing. Like, there's flags painted on the roads.
Yeah.
You hear about it
100%.
everywhere. It's
no,
in
but
our media.
there's a genuine conundrum because I don't know. I think we've gotten way too much into transgenderism because we should be talking about uni, remember? So like,
Yeah,
this
so
is a
so
whole this is a
the
whole
reason
other
I brought
issue.
all this up was because universities. The reason I did this is because universities are supposed to be a place where intelligence comes to life, right?
Hey, that's a bit of a.
Like that's
you
that's what it's
basically
supposed to be.
insinuating
It's what it's
you're
supposed to
insinuating
be.
it's not intelligent to
No,
and
as in critical thinking. I mean, like you can have a different opinion, but at least think it through. That's what I mean. But people don't seem to do that, and they tend to abandon basic reasoning just for these things. So that's why I conducted this study, though it's not really an official one.
yeah,
Right. I
yeah.
guess if you guys don't have anything, then I'm glad to have just shared that with the people. I'm gonna say this live on the podcast. I have officially cut off Sarah Brudge, so he is no longer a part of Infallible.
Yeah, same. I agree. I concur. I think we're both of
Yeah,
us are the founders, and we've like
we've
decided
cut
that
him
that's
off.
the. I think he's just
I
not right.
messaged him. I messaged him. I was like, "Look, I'm gonna cut you off in real life, just like a certain other person did." And he said, "I want to lose everything," so I did. I cut him off.
Anyway,
Anyway,
what
back
we
to
were.
the topic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
there's two more topics that can go together.
yeah,
Did you want to say something before?
yeah. Suleiman, did you want to add anything? Yeah, because I feel like Suleiman's
Um,
been quite.
no. You know, it is for me. Yeah, I just like to listen. I don't,
But
Yeah.
I don't.
don't you have any of your own experiences and takes based on what you've experienced? Like,
Give us a controversial
Not,
quote for
re-
the thumbnail, bruv.
not really. Not really. To be honest, I just in uni. I'm just with my friends. I just keep myself to myself. You know, I
Solomon,
don't
same.
bother with anyone else. To be honest.
Solomon, whenever you're losing an argument, and I won't say like this isn't an insult, but whenever you're losing an argument, you just say, "Okay, your opinion," and then you just leave. That's the whole thing for you.
I can't be.
You're the perfect example of the best winning move is not to play. That's literally you.
Thank, thank you.
That's how, that's how you avoid losing. You leave the table. That's good. That's a
Exactly,
good
yeah.
tactic.
Exactly.
That's a good
You're
tactic.
also better than us because you don't waste your mental energy on shit like this. Like
It's
Exactly,
true.
man.
It's actually
How do
true.
you
You,
guys think?
Suleiman,
How do you guys
you.
think so much? You guys, it's
No,
crazy.
it's not that we think so much. It's that we think about certain things that you don't
Yeah,
think about.
I know.
yeah,
Yeah,
we get very
yeah.
And
anal
you,
about this stuff. Yeah,
I, I respect that about you. I
me too.
respect that
Yeah, me
about you.
too.
Yeah,
You
Me
yeah.
too.
don't care about it. You don't care about it. You live your life. You do
You're
your
a free
thing.
Exactly.
spirit. You're a free
Yeah,
Yeah,
spirit.
it's actually
I
true.
envy that.
Like, even if I try disproving religion to you, you don't care. It's not gonna affect. You're gonna
yeah,
continue believing in the Quran. So yeah, I respect that. You
yeah.
know. Um, but
No, you can't say that. You can't say that. My family watches these.
okay, let's remove that bit. Let's remove
I'll remove that. I'll remove that. I'll remove that.
that bit. Anyway,
All right.
you
The
just you
last.
discussed
Yeah.
earlier about your view on Islam.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I'm gonna have to do some like that's fine because it doesn't. I think a lot of Muslims believe that it's not a peaceful religion, especially
Solomon,
when
do
you
you believe that?
mention like the reasons when they're based in scripture.
Solomon, do you believe that?
Do you want to get into it now?
I
I
can
don't know.
start listing. I can start listing about how
Because
we're gonna find the Jews as a major sign of the Day of Judgment if you want me to.
the
Like
thing
I
is
can
with
do
me,
that.
it's just I'm not that knowledgeable to talk about this stuff,
Most
so I
Muslims aren't.
can't.
I don't blame you. Most Muslims aren't.
So I don't want to start throwing stuff out there. You know what I'm trying to say? I
Um,
Fair
don't.
enough.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
one
will
day we will do
say,
religion too. Who knows?
can I just say my opinion on it? Yeah, that one specific thing.
Go on, go on, go on. And then we'll move on
I
to the last two.
think, largely speaking, Islam is generally peaceful. Generally,
Honestly, the
um,
idea that Islam is peaceful only came out in like the last 500 years. Like it's never been that way
um,
because it never needed to be.
obviously, obviously, it's a very it's not like Christianity in ways where Christianity and politics sort of separated about 500 years ago. Um,
Mm,
Islam is still very much intertwined with politics in some parts of the world, right? Like some
yeah,
governments, it's still used as part of like laws and stuff like that. And
Sharia
that's
law. Yeah,
probably what makes it a bit controversial in some ways. Like you're imposing Islamic law on everyone,
yeah.
regardless. Um, but there are so many kind, good Muslims,
That's
that
why I say.
follow scripture and like that
That's why I
means
think.
to
I
me
think
at
it's a very
least.
westernized version of Islam, though.
Well, I don't think so because I hear like very Eastern. There are so much because I've researched like gone in depth about Sikhism, right?
Yeah,
And so obviously there's a lot of historical conflict between Sikhs and the Mughals. I'll say Mughals because it's not Muslims, it's Mughals, a
Yeah,
specific type of people that happen to be Muslim.
yeah.
Um, and th- that's like, and I've realized actually there were so many good Muslims in that area that were fighting against Mughal invasion because they fought against injustice. So it wasn't like a religious issue; it's more like a tyranny issue.
Oh
Um,
yeah. I don't think it's the
so
people. I think it's the faith itself. Like when you look into the scripture itself.
yeah, I really don't know enough about the scripture to really conclude because you got to know context
Yeah,
and stuff like that in it, and I don't know enough about that to really make like proper. I probably would have said I did like a year or two ago, but now I've
yeah.
realized how little I know. you
It's
know,
I honestly, this is one of those rabbit holes that I wish I never jumped down. It's something I regret. I wish I was like
what
Suleiman. That's why I
really?
say I envy Suleiman.
Yeah,
Because
because
think
Cinnamon, you
think about
just
how simple my life would have been if I didn't jump down the rabbit hole.
well, that's
Yeah,
just
but me and my truth, huh?
yeah.
My hubris.
Well,
Anyway, the last 2 points. We'll intertwine these together. The first one is expectations versus reality. And the second point is what advice we'd give to people going into uni. So these people have specific expectations and we know what the reality is, right? So I thought we'd intertwine these last two and talk about, what kind of expectations did you lot have going in? What were you told about uni? I can start if you lot want, and like what did
um,
the reality end up being for you lot?
Ibs, you can start. I reckon. I
All right,
reckon
cool.
you start.
So we've all been through UCAS, and one of the big things that we were told is that uni will be the best 4 years of our life. That it's going to be the most fun, that we're going to socialize, that we'll meet people, maybe we'll even meet our soulmate, all that stuff. The reality is, no. The only fun you're going to have is if you like clubbing, if you like drinking. If you're a commuter, have good luck. Honestly, good luck because you're not going to be able to go to any of those night parties. You're going to be traveling home, worrying about getting home on time. So that social thing is completely gone. It's nothing like the way they tell you. All of that stuff. And in my experience, and I feel like this is something that a lot of people share, in uni, everyone acts so grown up and so, like, I can genuinely use this word, cardboard. A lot of the people I speak to in uni just remind me of cardboard cutouts. Like, they're very shallow. It's like small talk is as far as it goes. They're not interesting in any way, shape, or form. Things like that. When it comes to
Mm.
socialization, uni is not at all like they tell you. That's a very big reality. That's a big realities pill I've had to swallow. Have you lot got any, or should I keep going?
Yeah, no, I'm listening. Yeah.
All right. Ibrahim Rant's kicking in again. Secondly, when I originally thought I was going into university, I thought, like, if you imagine a pie chart, I thought I had like 80% of my basics done, and that uni would be there to fill in the rest of the gaps. When I went into uni, I realized I knew about 5%, that 95% of it needs to be filled, and that university isn't even going to teach you anything, and you have to do it yourself anyway. So that's another thing I had to swallow. And then I also realized that unis are an absolute joke and rankings barely even matter because the way that they set them up is ridiculous. All right, you
Yeah.
lot.
Like the admin, you mean like administration's kind of long, bureaucracy, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, for example, right, for psychology, you know what the two of the essays I've had to do have been? Two
Yeah.
of my essays have been on like reflection. So one of my essays was literally like talk about a learning experience you had, and I would have to be like, okay, look, I use these flashcards to learn, and I found this effective. Here is some research on flashcards, 1,500 words.
Hmm.
Psychology degree, and that's what I'm doing. And I've got another one due, which is the exact same thing, and it's crazy to me. Like the way that they've like set all of that shit up. Even though I go to Reading, which is a top 20 for psychology, it's bizarre,
Hmm.
like, or it used to be. I don't think it is in 2023 anymore, but I think in 2022 it was, or like top 25 or something. I don't remember anymore. But like, that's the kind of thing you need to expect if you're going into uni. So my advice to anyone starting would be prepared for disappointment and don't cut off any of your friends that in secondary because a lot of the time they will be your main group. And it's a bit ironic I'm saying that because I've literally just cut off one right now live in the podcast. But anyway, you lot, how you lot? You got anything?
On Sono, you can go next.
Okay, so right now I'm just talking to you. You know,
Yeah,
I'm
I've been talking
talking
to
to you.
Salad back and forth as well.
I'm talking to Anil right now. But yeah, university for me is important in certain ways, and not in the ways people generally think. It's probably not gonna help in terms of your knowledge, like secondary school did and sixth form did, but it will help in terms of like your conduct, your social skills, how you do research, stuff like that, right? And I think those are important skills in certain professions. They're definitely important. Um, the whole politics surrounding university is a bit like a difficult one because I think university is the one place where basically people start like becoming really opinionated and spreading their views and sharing things that they think that they know everything about when really none of us have a clue, right? Um, that's why it's so political, and I think that's why there's such a presence of things that even that you and me both disagree with, right? Because there's such a
Yeah,
presence of like there's such a presence of religion. Like I disagree with religion in general, right?
yeah,
Um, but there's a presence of a huge presence. There's always room given to Muslims to pray, right?
yeah,
There's always, I don't know, some sort of temple nearby to give someone some level of like connection to their faith. And even though I don't agree with it, I gotta respect that that's what makes people comfortable. Yeah.
yeah,
And same thing with the transgender talks and discussions and things that me, Ibrahim Sulayman, might disagree with. I think they're necessary because their entire aim is to make everyone as comfortable as possible, whilst also making the least harm. You know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's why it's important that we have those things, those areas.
Mm,
Um,
Yeah,
whether we
literally.
agree or disagree with it is a different thing. That's a different thing.
yeah.
But yeah, that's basically my take.
It's
You have
rough.
any
Yeah.
advice for the people if they're going
For
into it?
My advice.
university,
For people doing
be
UCAS?
sure, be sure what you're getting into. Be sure about it because we're Asian, innit? All of
Exactly.
us, we're Indian, Pakistani, right?
Yeah,
Um, and so our parents are like, you know, I don't know, like lawyer, doctor, engineer, all that sort of idea, right? And
Exactly.
we know that that pressure to succeed, we know it because we've had it our whole lives. Um,
here's
and
another thing I wanted to get into right after Suleiman says his thing. I'll get into that as well.
it's always been in our heads the logical next step after sixth form is university. It's always university. You always have to do university. You must do university.
Yeah,
And you know what? In my case, the profession that I want to pursue, it probably is necessary. I want to get into like banking and stuff.
yeah,
And so I need to have like a rudimentary understanding of like literature and theory, stuff like that. But some things like, I don't know, like being a mechanic or something. If you want to be a mechanic, you don't need a degree for that,
go to
right?
trade school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
And even like Suleiman, what he wants to pursue, what was it like,
Cyber.
cybersecurity.
cyber security. Basically, you just gotta like do your research and become like an
Mm,
Abdullah, like my friend, and you'll be sick
yeah.
at it. You don't need to have the
Exactly.
degree. So
Mm,
yeah, it's just be sure what you want to do and know you're making the right step. It's not always inevitable to go to university. It's
I'd
not always.
especially say things like
100%.
film and drama, especially,
Yeah, yeah.
and like gender studies. That's a
100%.
genuine thing people do. Like, what the fuck?
Mm, mm.
Gender studies is actually really, it's like philosophical. I know it sounds stupid, but it's actually really interesting to learn
Yeah,
about.
you,
Like,
use your philosophy to get a job. Yeah, have fun.
all right, thanks. Anyway, Sullivan,
Go on, Suleiman.
your last comments.
My last take of university is it was a shock, When I first, what I thought of was like I was unis, the teachers, the lecturers, they're gonna basically help us like explain stuff. As soon as I got in there, well, I was in for a surprise,
Mm,
especially for one of my modules, the programming one. Obviously, I never done it in my life. They just threw it at you.
yeah.
Because that obviously is a massive jump from sixth form to university, and like things they just threw at you, just expect you to know, they didn't explain nothing. It's all self teaching. You just have to learn by yourself. That's the main thing, to be honest. Yeah.
Do you not get
And what
tutorials, Suleiman?
advice we do, but what do you mean as in a what? Like,
Like you like come together and like talk about the stuff that you've learned.
no, thing is we do, but like the thing is that there's too many people. It's
Oh, is
hard
it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
when
Okay.
there's too many people in the uni. Just like so many people in our course as well. It's hard to you know, answer for the lecturer
Mm.
to answer every question. And what advice I would give, like Storna said, just be careful and then make sure you know what you're doing because uni is not easy. You know, it's not.
Yep.
I mean, there are some people just play around. You know, think uni's a joke, but no, you just some if you don't like studying, like uni, do apprenticeship. So many other routes to get into your profession. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, that's about
And
it.
remember, you're looking at one person right now who didn't follow that advice. Me. I'm leaving psychology. I've wasted a whole year and
Exactly.
9K
So,
that I'm going into
mm,
software engineering. And it's exactly like
mm,
Sona said. As an Asian, university is basically considered primary education. It's not like an
mm,
optional thing. That's something I found that's very different between the cultures. Like, because we're
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in UK, like in the schools are like, oh, you have all these other options, but to an
mm.
Asian, uni is just basic education. You have to do it. That's it. Full stop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every Asian Africans as well get it.
Africans as
You
well,
just
yeah.
gotta like
yeah.
it's a given. It's a
Mm,
given. You know.
But make sure you
Yeah.
do your research. I mean, there was a few reasons why I'm stopping. Number one, I didn't realize how much I had to do in order to get my job because I didn't know that after my degree, there would also be a master's and 3 years of training in the NHS first as well, which we already know the NHS and get you don't get paid much anyway in the NHS. You don't get paid much for psychology in
mm.
general in any case. But also, I didn't realize how, because I did it based on A level. I enjoyed A level psychology, so I thought, yeah, that's what I enjoy. I don't enjoy anything else. Let me do that. But because I didn't do my research, I ended up in the position I'm in. So learn from my mistakes. There's a saying that goes, a wise man is someone who learns from their mistakes, but a wiser man is someone who learns from the mistakes of others. Do that. Especially for me, because I've wasted my year, don't waste yours. And that's like a very important thing. And so that's like the point I wanted to bring up. Do we make the right choice? Do you not think you made the right choice in the end? Do you have any regrets, any qualms?
Because because the amount of debt you're gonna get into,
Yeah.
it's not worth it.
So do you not
Me,
It's
I
do you
think it
not.
is.
I'm telling you.
do you not think you made the right choice then?
I think I did.
Yeah, I think I did, but it's not gonna get any easy. That's what I
Yeah.
gotta say.
Make sure you
I
can
don't
do
know.
it for 3 years.
I know Ibrahim really doesn't like his degree, and you fell out of love with psychology. But I really like my degree.
That's
I'm
true, yeah.
sorry.
Same.
Fair
I wish I
enough.
had,
I thought,
but
Fair
I
enough,
like
yeah, fair enough.
writing about philosophy and like politics and like random
mm,
waffle that people come up with. And it's
Yes.
interesting to me because it's like so abstract, you
Dear
know. So
viewers,
yeah.
mm.
make sure you're a Sauna. Make sure you're not an Ibrahim, alright? That's important. Or a
Yeah.
Suleiman, I guess. Suleiman, you don't
Yeah.
You
regret your
know,
choice.
y- no, no. I mean, at the beginning, I'm gonna be honest, I had a tough time. I
Hmm.
was like, should I drop out? Should I do this? But then I guess I just got on with it, and yeah, here I am. First year
Okay.
Oh,
done.
right.
Second year, it's not looking any easier to be
Everyone's
honest.
finishing the first year already. I've got exams coming up, man. Like,
Yeah, I
It's crazy.
finished. Yeah, so
Remember, like EK was telling this yesterday, he finished his like year and now he has 5 months where he's doing absolutely nothing.
same.
do they
That's
not
thing with
have
me.
like? Do you
Isn't that
guys not get
insane?
assignments? Do you guys not get assignments or like exams or anything? Like,
No, it's cool. Mostly it's coursework and
The
just
same with
lab
film, yeah.
tests, which are like multiple choice. Basically, yeah,
You could have finished your
that's
degree in two
crazy.
years and started working if
Mm.
they didn't give you 5 months arbitrary bonus time for no
exactly.
reason. It's so
But
I don't
stupid.
because
know.
this is, mm,
Like,
go
I
on.
feel like university might play more of a role in like making you a human. Maybe I don't know. Like, you get to
Maybe.
converse with so many more people from different
Yeah, that's true.
True.
backgrounds and like
Mm,
different understand. So many Americans in my school. Crazy. So many Americans. So many Chinese people in my
Yeah,
school,
the
and
diversity
they're
is
all
crazy.
like, yeah. It's very
foreign
interesting.
students. You know, foreign they charge them 16K a year.
Yeah, yeah,
reform
yeah,
students.
I've
Yeah,
heard.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
There
I
was
don't
like
know
a
why.
huge
Yeah,
line for them as well. Like we get easy pass in, they have to wait like a huge line.
See,
exactly.
for my uni, I could never imagine going abroad for my uni.
I could
Like
never, yeah.
never. Like the
Especially not in a
only
subject that's not English. Like
there are very few unis that ever go abroad for, and that's like world class, like
Harvard,
Harvard,
MIT or
like
something.
Oxford.
Yeah.
Well, if I wasn't living in London, Oxford and Cambridge, stuff like those universities. Yeah, okay, cool. They demand like complete dedication, but
Even if there was a uni that was better than Harvard, but it was in like, I don't know, a German or something, I wouldn't do it because I wouldn't be able to. Like, because everything would be in German. It would be so hard. I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't get how
yeah,
foreign students. I mean, I guess they're taught English as well from an early age, but like I wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to.
yeah.
Would not be able to.
I've met a lot of South Koreans, and I learned that in South Korea you're taught English as like a mandatory subject. So
Yeah, it's
like
very useful. Yeah.
all if not most South Koreans should know English quite like fluently. It's quite interesting, isn't it?
Men are Chinese, mostly, like mostly.
Oh, really?
Mm.
But they usually just keep to themselves. Like that's another thing about accommodation as well. We didn't talk about accommodation because I don't think any of us have it. But
I don't have it.
my friends were telling me the ones who do
No.
have accommodation that it's very hard for them to make friends there as well because a lot of them are foreign, so they just keep to themselves and they stay in their little groups and like the accommodation themselves are too expensive and they suck. Like I said, go in prepared to be disappointed. All right, everyone, make sure you're
Well,
ready for that.
no. Yeah, okay. Always be prepared for the worst, but don't be prepared to be disappointed. It's not that bad, man.
It's not that bad, but the way that they over glamorize it in school, like you're gonna have high expectations that aren't gonna be met. That's that's just a fact. Like there is no getting around that. I don't think I've met a single person. Like I know people who enjoy uni. Like I'm very pessimistic about uni, but I know many people like that friend I was talking about earlier who like she loves uni, but even she can admit that like it's not what it's not what anyone expects. Like the
Mm.
high expectations that they've got for it,
Exactly.
it's nothing like that at all.
Mm.
Have you guys like? Okay, so like, do you guys want to say how you think you've changed after uni? Like your
Yeah.
behavior, your so like,
Who wants
cause
to go
have you
first?
guys noticed if I've changed like in my like demeanor or behavior after spending some time at uni?
I don't think so. I feel like you've always
Have I
naturally been
changed?
ahead of us, like generally.
In what? In what?
In terms of intellect, in terms of mannerisms,
No,
everything like that.
say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. I'm not saying like no, because I never accept that. I don't like talking about like that because intellect isn't something you can measure. So it's not like right to say
Yeah,
that.
that's true, that's true.
Um, what I mean is like, has my demeanor changed in how I like? Because I've heard like I've been told I sound more like accepting now. I don't know. Like,
I mean, you've always been accepting. That's just the kind of opinions you've had.
well, yeah, but I've always been quite like very opinionated. But now I've realized like I don't know much, so I've started like dialing back on my opinions.
Oh, that might be, yeah, yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
I think that's why you changed to my side on trans as well.
maybe yeah, that might be it. But
Have you
anyway,
noticed
yes.
anything in
How do you
yourself?
think? Sorry.
Have you noticed anything in yourself?
Um,
Because I can say I have, but I don't know about other people.
maybe my quality of writing probably has gone up.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I would say so. Would you notice in yourself?
Silman, do you want to go first or should I?
Go on,
You
yeah,
can go.
Solomon.
Go on,
No,
bro.
fine.
Yeah, Silman, I'm flipping a coin right now, heads or tails.
Head.
Right,
Okay.
so my turn. As I was saying, um, I was gonna make a whole Ibrahim rant on this, so I'll just give like a brief summary. But I've started to become like there's two things. I'm never able to find the correct balance, first of all. I become very I've become very how do I even say this? Like I'll just give some examples. Like for example, in uni, and this is something I really regret, but I became very withdrawn for a while. Like at the beginning I started off being extremely social. And like I would meet everyone, I'd be friends with as many people as I could. And then slowly but surely I became really withdrawn. So the two friends that I did have, one of them I just completely just stopped talking to. Because I was like, I don't enjoy socializing, I enjoy my own company. Let me just socialize. So I wasn't able to find a correct balance there. And I've realized that I don't think I was any different before, but I've started to realize my own faults a lot more. And I've also become a lot more like pessimistic over the years, like over this time. And I've also,
Ah,
I think intellectually, I've begun to chew on other people's opinions a bit more than I used to.
like consider them. Like
Yeah, consider them because like before I used to be like, ah, that guy's just an idiot. But then I came to the
same,
realize then I
same,
came to the
same.
realization that well, I'm starting to take people's political opinions as like who they are. And I used to I became this is another thing about finding the balance. Originally I used to think I was the biggest moron. I didn't know a single thing, and I used to get really annoyed about that. And then afterwards, instead of finding the balance, I started thinking, no, I'm correct. All of my things are based off of logic. I have to be correct. And so I used to think everyone else is just stupid. And so I conducted this
Mm.
study as well, but I came to realize that no, most people just don't care. Like it's not about them being stupid. It's just I'm the one who's being very critical about this stuff when it's not really how it is for most people. So things like that,
Yeah,
I feel
some
like.
most people just want to live with their lives, man, and they can't be
Mm.
asked
I
to get
definitely think,
involved in these issues.
yeah, I think year 13 me would not recognize me as of right now if I went back in time. I
Oh,
definitely don't
really?
think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I've changed so much. Like you can't tell it too much, but deep inside internally, like mentally I've changed. My mindset has changed significantly.
Don't know. What about
Uh,
you?
uh, I don't really know, I just feel like the same old person as I've been, you know,
All
transitioning
right.
Mm.
from year 12, 13. I mean, the main thing for me would probably be like socializing. I feel like that was the main thing for me anyway, and obviously now a bit more sociable and stuff. And yeah,
Oh, is
my
it? You've
confidence is kind
increased
of
your
yeah.
That's
how
I
good.
mean,
much you
like
chill
yeah,
with. All right,
yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. That's good. That's a good
yeah,
change.
yeah.
I remember Suleiman
Mm.
Um,
when we first met you, you were just by yourself. So if you've changed that,
I
that's
was so
crazy.
shy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I
That's
was
good.
shy, and I made
mm,
friends straight away. So
That's
yeah,
very
it's
good.
good.
Yeah.
I think I've started becoming a bit more. What was the word? I've forgotten it. I was gonna say something, but I forgot. Oh, yeah. You'd probably hate this, Ibrahim. Yeah,
Go on.
but I think I'm starting to get a little bit like spiritual as well.
What?
Yeah,
I
I'm
need
not
to call your
joking.
I
Oh,
need to call your previous
Ibrahim.
self. I need to call no, you
Yeah,
shouldn't even
yeah,
you yourself would hate yourself right now.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I feel like a year ago or something, 2 years ago, I'd be laughing at myself right
Yeah.
now. But once I've started like once I've started like reading more religious stuff to actually understand it a bit more, even though I still don't believe in God, and it's probably just a thing people made up to make us feel better about ourselves in the universe. Um, I started realizing maybe there is sort of like an underlying energy amongst all of us, you
In a
know.
year from now you're gonna be a Buddhist. I'm calling it right now. I'm
No,
calling my shot.
I would not be a Buddhist. If I would be something, I'd be a Sikh
Yeah, but
because
Sikhs,
Buddhism.
yeah. Sikh still believes in like that kind of conflicts with like because it's like it's still a theistic religion, but Buddhism isn't. That's the thing.
Yeah, but the idea of God in Sikhism is completely different from what you really
Yeah,
experience in other like for instance in Islam, Suleiman, if I'm wrong, please confirm.
Yeah, no,
But
it's
Allah is like separate from creation. You know, He
he's
has
above
like
it.
mm,
Yeah,
a Jalal. You know, His fiery glory
mm,
is like too strong
mm,
for the universe for Him to be a
mm,
part in it, like immersed in it.
okay,
Whereas in Sikhism
his energy.
it's more like God is in everything, every single like atom and
mm,
iota of existence is upheld by God's
mm.
presence,
Isn't
like
Sikhism's
physically there.
yeah? Isn't Sikhism's
Yeah,
version of heaven like you becoming part of God as well?
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. You have like mukti, which is basically liberation.
Mukti.
Your soul joins back with God. Um, that's like the best like experience. The best way I could explain it is like God is like imagine the ocean, right?
Yeah,
Um, and in the ocean, there's loads of small plastic bags. Each one is filled with salt water, right?
right.
And so you've got loads of these tiny plastic bags floating on the ocean filled with salt water. And technically, they're part of the ocean, but they're not really part of the ocean. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The plastic bag is separating them. And that plastic bag is like in Sikhism is called Ahangar, which is ego. That ego prevents us from really recognizing ourselves as part of the ocean. That's basically God and humans in Sikhism,
Yeah, that's
basically.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That is a very big
but yeah,
change. Wow.
yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. It might. I feel like it's a scientific thing though that could definitely be measured scientifically, but we just haven't gotten there yet.
You think you've become more spiritual because of what you said earlier about you become like realizing that you don't know a lot and stuff like that?
Maybe,
Like you
yeah.
start
That
used
might be it.
I think that's probably it,
Like
yeah.
of reading I've done, I've realized actually, you know what, man? There's so much stuff out there that we don't know. Like it's interesting. It's so weird. I've transitioned from thinking I knew everything, despite not having done much, and now having researched a lot and realizing I don't know anything. you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um,
I can see I can definitely feel that.
yeah, this is very interesting. You're reaching that stage, Ibrahim, where I was at the beginning when we first met,
Yeah.
where you're
I
starting
like I
to
said,
like do like, yeah.
I've always been very late to the party for everything. So
You're gonna get to my point when I'm like 25, and you're gonna realize, oh, actually, I don't know anything, bro. I don't know what's going
Sa-
on.
I wish I could
Salad,
say you were wrong.
Salad just text me
Yeah.
saying, "Was the podcast good?" What do
Don't
you
worry
want
about it.
him to
Don't
say?
ignore him, ignore him, ignore him, ignore him.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. Ignore. I can't lie. I'm gonna cut them both off. Can't have it
probably
anymore.
yeah. Can't
Yeah.
this is
So
getting too far. Like you can only joke for so long.
that's a shame, though.
Why?
It's a shame.
I'll see if I can fix something, but if it can't be fixed then because I don't want to lose Salad. He's such a good friend of mine. But we'll see
Yeah,
how it
but
goes.
I don't know what's going on. So like, yeah. Anyway, that was an interesting discussion. Got
Yeah.
proper
I
deep near
really
the
like this
end.
episode, yeah. Abraham Run teaser trailer over. You've seen that's gonna
Right.
happen at
Yeah.
some point. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, any final
Um.
conclusions? Any closing thoughts? Anything?
I don't really have
Not
much to say,
really.
Suleiman. No. Okay. Yeah.
No, no.
I think that's it then, isn't it?
All right, okay. Well, my final closing thought is university is nothing like you're gonna expect. And it really, this is a bit pessimistic, but it really is a coin toss whether you're gonna enjoy it or not. So there's nothing you can
I
do
won the
about that.
coin toss.
Yeah,
I
you
won
won the
that
coin
one.
toss. I lost the coin toss. In fact, I didn't even lose the coin toss. The coin fell off the cliff, and I joined the coin in the cliff. But there's
Yeah.
nothing you can do about it. It's out of your hands. So focus on yourself, focus on improving yourself, and we'll see how it goes, I guess.
See you next episode.
All right, hang on. Let me end the bot. Let's see if I can do it properly in the new chat this time. Slash leave.
Now recording.
Now recording. Now leaving. Did I leave? Yay, you didn't leave. Wonderful.
It didn't leave.
Did I make it go?
No, was there something else that you have to do, like
Stop. It's
semicolon
stop.
or
It's
something?
slash stop. It's slash stop, not slash leave. Leave is the long one. All right. Good night, people. You've been watching Infallible. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.